before we move on into learning how to create looks with Colourlab, I have to explain the underlying color science that has been used when Colourlab was created. This color science comes from a very recent scientific studies by neuroscientists who have tried to decipher how we perceive color and how color and image can affect our emotion. And the very interesting thing that came out of these scientific studies is that actually when we look at an image, what happens in our brain is that we internally separate information of contrast and information of color palette from that particular image and look. Effectively, our mind is processing those two elements in parallel and based on them kind of create an emotional reaction. So we can really say that every look consists out of two elements. One is the element of contrast and another one is the element of color palette. And the way how this works is very similar and very linked to music as well. So for example, contrast is very similar to the tempo of the song. So if we have a very high contrast, this would be equivalent of a very high tempo, which would also mean a higher energy of the song, and this means also high energy of the look. At the same time, palette is equivalent to what we have in the music as a harmony, and we can recognize that certain harmonies are happier and certain harmonies are sad. So we have a major and minor harmonies. So the same thing is also with color palettes. We have a happy color palettes and sad color palettes. And combination of those two elements is basically how we are able to drive the emotion of the viewer in a desired direction. So for example, if we want to create an image with high contrast, what we are going to do is we're going to achieve an effect of very high energy tension, and we're going to draw more attention to that image. That means that if you want to do that in Colourlab, you have to select one of the S curves because they are specially shaped to give you that effect of a high contrast, high attention and attention. If on the other side you think that going for emotions of low energy or very low tension is what you have to do in this particular moment or scene, then you should go for low contrast look, and in Colourlab that means use L curves. So they are basically curves that are shaped and designed particularly to help you ease the feeling inside the shot, make it a little bit more slower, or make the whole energy of the shot lower. The same thing is when we look at the palettes. So for example, a warmer palette is going to give us a friendly or happy or positive outcome on the viewer's emotion. In Colourlab, that means that you should be selecting major palettes, and in the opposite, if you go for more danger, sad, or a negative emotion, that means you need to go for a colder palette, and in Colourlab, that means you should be selecting one of the minor color palettes. In parallel to that, what Colourlab also gives you option of F contrast that are basically sampled contrast curves from different film stocks, and also we have Kodak and Fuji color palettes that are sampled from different film stocks. But what we did is we have separated them. So we have separated contrast and color palettes from one from another so that you can be free to mix and match them to your needs.